gotta be an idiot to bet on that parlay.
It's DTF or bust.
Put it on my mama's porch tomorrow. Welcome back to Hold My Bet podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Park. Here with me today on draft night, Mr. DTF. Dylan, how's it going?
It's draft night. We've made it. Some big shakeups already in the first round. I swear this has to be the most trades of the first round ever.
It has to be some of the craziest for sure. I mean, who would have imagined 2 and 3 being picked by the same team? I mean,
yeah,
who would imagine that? But honestly, let's go ahead and get just right into this. So number one, we all thought Bryce Young was going to be it. Since these last, I would say about 3 weeks or so. So no surprise there. Carolina gets their franchise quarterback. Then we get very interesting with 2 and 3. The Houston Texans go ahead and choose CJ Stroud at number 2. I know Dylan was a firm believer in that one as well.
mm-hmm.
I was starting to lose a little bit of faith in it with the reports, but I knew there had to be some kind of smoke screen on that. Whether they were interested in trading up to 3 from number 12. But they ended up getting number 2 and number 3, where they picked CJ Stroud from Ohio State and Will Anderson Jr. from Alabama. This was pretty crazy. When you have to say, I can't think of a time since I watched the draft that something like this has even happened. The only thing I can think of even close, and it wasn't even a draft night trade, it was the Browns picking at 1 and 4.
Yeah, and even that wasn't as crazy as this. Like when they said CJ Stroud and then they went right to Will Anderson, I said, "Holy shit, they got their team!" Like they went from second to almost worst team in the league to probably a playoff contender in like 10 seconds.
Yeah, we got to see how they perform still, and they still have a lot they have to fix, but they're definitely like way ahead of the rebuild now.
Yeah.
And I think it was worth every penny that they got rid of. I mean,
yeah.
They traded next year's first round pick, but I mean, you have your defensive stud and you have your franchise quarterback. I mean, there you go. I mean, that's the first building blocks. I mean, D'Amico Ryans comes from San Francisco, where they built an all-star team essentially. Like a lot of those players would be the best defensive players on majority of NFL rosters right now.
Breaking news: Cowboys Mozzie Smith from Michigan, defensive tackle.
Oh, interesting. They're probably pissed that they didn't have a receiver available at all.
What do you mean? Well, I mean, there's receivers available, but
no one they wanted.
Yeah. As we go through this full list, we'll give the breaking news because we're not done with the first round yet.
Yeah, right now as we're recording this, Jacksonville is finally picking after trading twice now.
Yeah,
they're picking at 28. Who knows? They might even trade it again at this rate.
Yeah, 27. 27.
Is it 27? Oh, yeah, they are picking at 27. I don't know why I read 28 next to it. But yeah, Houston, amazing first 2 picks of the draft. Looking forward to the rest of their draft as well. I think they actually still have second round picks, even though they traded one. So very interested to see what they got going on in Houston. We switch over to Indianapolis, picking at 4. Will Levis still on the board. They choose Anthony Richardson. I think it was the right move, personally, especially with their
biggest smoke screen of the draft. Biggest smoke screen with that Will Levis was going to go top 4. I knew there was no way he was going top 4.
Yeah, I mean, he has the arm talent. Don't get me wrong. I still think that he has a chance.
Did you hear the rumor?
What's the rumor?
A scout told his GM, "Do not pick him. He's going to be Baker Mayfield 2.0." And I think that the rumor got out.
I kind of think that.
Yeah, I think the rumor got out that that's what was going on and why he was slipping. And this happens in drafts. If a player like his caliber, something is even sniffed out, and they drop top 5 when they're supposed to be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, they fall to the second round.
Well, did you hear about the Lucas Van Ness story in Philadelphia?
No.
So he actually pulled a draft day move, which is actually funny because I just rewatched that movie before the draft.
Yeah.
There's a thing that NFL coaches do, and I'm surprised NFL players aren't more prepared for this. Like the little things coaches will try to do to try to test people. He put $100 bill in the back of the playbook. Lucas Van Ness took the $100 and lied about taking the $100. So he just didn't trust him. So they literally took him completely off the draft board. Like even if he had fallen, say, to like the second round, like they wouldn't take him. Like he was considered undraftable. I thought that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, how did that happen in draft? Did Kevin Costner put that in the playbook?
Yes.
And is that why he picked Chadwick Boseman?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. How funny.
Yeah, he
But
took $100 bill and lied about taking it.
that quarterback in the movie fell because everybody was panicking, like, what's wrong with him?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what's happening with Levis right now. Like how Lamar Jackson fell to 26 or whatever it was, when he was drafted by the Ravens. Was he supposed to go top 10? Maybe. But then he fell because everybody was worried he was more of a running back than a quarterback.
Yeah. He's fortunate though for one thing. I think there's only one team left in the first round that could take him if he is going to go in the first round. New Orleans still has a pick at 29 that they still have a shot of taking him.
I think that's where he's going to go. I think that's where he fits best. Obviously, Andy Dalton's gone, but having Derek Carr there would be a good mentor for Will Levis. I mean, it's a start. You don't want him to jump right into a starting role, as you really don't for any quarterback. I know Bryce Young and CJ Stroud probably won't have a choice.
Nor
But
do they. I think they have to. I mean, it's nice. It'd be nice for them to, sit a little bit,
yeah,
watch. But I mean, if they're ready to go, they're ready to go. Some people they're gonna be better the more they play. Like Anthony Richardson, that's kind of a crapshoot. I personally think that he'd be better if he sat behind Gardner Minshew for at least, I would say 5-6 weeks. And then, start getting him in there. Maybe get
yeah.
him.
Let's just see how the preseason looks first. I mean, it's a big difference.
Yeah, it's a huge difference. And his receivers weren't very good in Florida. I mean, they had a ton of drops. A lot of them were catchable passes, but that's why when people bring up his accuracy, is it really his accuracy or is it what he was playing with in Florida?
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to see. I was surprised by this next pick though. Seattle picked Devon Witherspoon from Illinois.
That's
I
a
guess
good
I really
pick.
shouldn't have been surprised. They did need corner. He was the best corner available. So I can't really say I'm super surprised by that one. But I really thought this was Jalen Carter written all over it.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you. Devin Witherspoon was arguably one of the best defensive players in this draft, other than Jalen Carter, other than
Will Anderson.
someone, huh?
Will Anderson.
Will Anderson, obviously, but I was even going to say Jack Campbell, which I'm glad he was, eventually taken off the board. But a lot of Big Ten players I realized in this draft so far.
Oh yeah, a lot of Iowa players.
Breaking news: Jaguars Anton Harrison OT from Oklahoma.
Well, that's good. They needed a upgrade there.
Yeah, give Trevor Lawrence some help.
Yeah, and they built up some draft capital too, trading back twice.
Yeah.
I was glad to see that they didn't do it again, but
yeah, give me them picks.
yeah. Let's see.
Before we move on, though, Brandon, how did it feel not having a dog in this fight tonight?
It was really weird.
It did feel weird. I keep waiting for like the Cleveland Browns are now on the clock and like nothing.
Yeah,
But I
just
do like,
really anxious at the edge of my seat. This is the first draft I haven't been at like the edge of my seat at all.
yeah, I love the trolling though. The Browns saying we've got our guy.
Yeah.
Um, but we joke around about not having a draft pick, but we also have our, secondary teams. You with the Dolphins who had to forfeit their pick, me with the Buccaneers, which we'll get to. I really was hoping for Smith and Jigba at 19. That'd have been sick, but it would be cooler if it was Tom Brady throwing to him than Baker, the playmaker.
Yeah, Buddy Mayfield.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna go and move on to the sixth pick. The Cardinals. So they originally were at 3, moved down to 12. Said, "Fuck it, let's go back to 6. Get Paris Johnson Jr. from Ohio State to protect Kyler Murray, who
Big pick.
probably will not be playing a lot of the season. But hey, let's get him some protection.
Honestly, I love this pick a lot.
Oh, I do too.
Not just the bias of Ohio State, but this is what the Cardinals needed. This was a great pick.
Yeah, I agree. I think they did Kyler Murray right on this.
Yeah.
There's no need to get the skill positions this high up right now. Let's try to see what we can get in this draft, especially since this is going to kind of be I don't want to say a tanking year, but it's going to be a rough year for Cardinals fans. So let's
I was shocked that we've not seen a night 1 player trade yet. I thought maybe DeAndre Hopkins, but I know he's not a first round caliber player. But I was still surprised that we haven't gotten any trade with a player yet.
Yeah, I'm surprised too. I would have thought something would have happened by now.
Especially with Chase Young and Sweat.
Yeah. I wonder what they're gonna do with Chase Young, if they're gonna try to get rid of him ASAP or what the deal is going on there.
I don't know. I think they'd be stupid to not keep him if you're gonna try and make a push for the playoffs. I mean, you've got a really good defensive edge. Keep him and hold on to him as long as you can.
Yeah,
but maybe they're trying to get the most out of him before another injury happens. Anything in that regard.
Yeah, and if he has a good year, then give him his payday. But yeah. So yeah, Paris Johnson Jr. at number 6. Then we move on to number 7. Tyree Wilson goes to I almost called him Oakland Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders. I thought that was a solid pick for them. Tyree Wilson was one of the bigger names coming into this draft to watch out for. I was surprised that he was taken ahead of Jalen Carter, but I understand why.
Yeah.
Just comes down to character issues. Jalen Carter, I think he's going to pan out to be amazing in this league as long as he stays out of trouble, which I think he will. I can only hope. Because I think he's going to be special and he's going to help out the Eagles, who got him at number 9. They swapped picks with the Bears, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Number 8, I know we just kind of skipped over this, but this is probably one of the biggest names on this draft board. Bijan Robinson goes to Atlanta Falcons. I was on the phone with you when this one happened. You were pretty surprised.
I was shocked. I think he was taken way too early. I thought the Eagles would have got him, but I'm glad the Eagles got Jalen Carter to be paired back up with Jordan Davis. Just weird, but how do you go from Tyler Algier with 1,000 yards rushing last year to drafting another running back? Unless, in their opinion, they took the best off the board, but just odd. But breaking news, Bengals just got Miles Murphy, defensive end from the Clemson.
That's a pretty solid pick for them.
I'm
glad they didn't get Michael Mayer, though.
Yeah.
Tight end. So
what pick are we tomorrow?
We got a whole round.
Oh, we're not drafting tomorrow?
No, we are.
Oh.
We got a whole round. We're in the third round.
Huh?
We're in the third round. We don't have a second round pick.
That's what I meant. We don't have a second round pick.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, Bijan Robinson. I still think it's a good pick. Is there something that they could have maybe gotten before that? Yeah, maybe like a Jackson Smith and Jigba. I thought that would have been perfect right there. Um, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's a horrible pick. I mean, I think Bijan Robinson's I think Saquon Barkley's a perfect example or comparison to put him with. Just their way of running style and their playmaking ability. I mean, he's gonna really help that Falcons offense, especially if Desmond Ritter's their starting quarterback.
Is
Falcons are gonna
Cordell
be fun to
Patterson
watch.
gone?
No, he's still on the team.
So they're loaded.
Oh yeah, because think you can. Cordell Patterson's more or less a receiver more than a running back.
Yeah.
He's kind of just an absolute gadget player. You can put him literally anywhere. So I think the Falcons are going to be really fun to watch next year.
Mm-hmm.
If not at least interesting. I definitely plan on watching a few Falcons games. Um, just curious on Desmond Ritter and seeing if we were right, if he was the best quarterback available last year.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we mentioned Jalen Carter going to the Eagles. Great pickup for them. Kind of sucks that they just added probably one of the best players in the draft and they just went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But, you know, they played their cards right and they won.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears, who traded down one spot, so the Eagles picked Jalen Carter, which I kind of was hoping that the Bears would pick Jalen Carter.
Same.
But they get something that's even more of a bigger need for them, and that's fixing their O line. They select Darnell Wright out of Tennessee. Big body man. You know, he's a big fat boy on the line. He's gonna do him good. Got to
Yep.
get Justin Fields his protection. I was surprised that he got picked over Peter Skoronsky, who went the next pick to Tennessee at 11.
Yes, the Titans got their replacement for Taylor Lewan. 77 replacing 77. And he said he's gonna wear the number proud after Taylor Lewan.
Yeah, that's awesome. He still hasn't signed with the team, correct?
No, they released him, but he's not signed with a team.
Yeah.
There's rumors it's gonna be Cincinnati. There's rumors it's going to be Pittsburgh, and there's rumors it's going to be the Raiders.
Go Raiders. Keep him out of the North.
He wants to go to a team that he can bring Will Compton with him.
Yeah, that
so
makes sense.
So they can do their podcast, but
So they can be bussing with the boys.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they'll be able to play in the same team again. I don't think Will is going to make another team roster.
He might as a bench player. He might. I doubt it.
He was supposed to sign with the Falcons last season as a practice squad player to get a push for the playoffs, but it didn't work out because Will was doing some gambling with Barstool Sports for the league.
Oh.
So I don't know if that's a yearly thing where if he was to try to get on a team again, if, it's only per season. So, like, if he doesn't gamble this season or I don't know how that works. So,
Yeah, that might be how that works. Let's see. Number 12 was a surprise. Detroit Lions selected Jahmyr Gibbs. I did
made
not
no
see
sense.
this one coming.
Made no sense. They've got Swift, they've got Montgomery. It made no sense. Unless they're planning on Swift leaving. Huh?
Do you think they're just going to try to trade Swift? He's so
Possibly.
undependable.
Possibly.
Player, but he's so undependable.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like the pick at all.
Yeah, I kind of think it was a weird pick. I like the player. I don't know where they were going with the pick. I feel like if they were going to do this, they might as well have looked at a backup. I think selecting Will Levis here would have been actually better than going for
Well, that's what I thought they were going to do because all along they were teasing that they were going to go for Lamar Jackson. So I thought, okay, are they planning to try to build their future? But pick is in for New Orleans. I want to see this real quick.
Brian Breeze.
Who is it?
Brian Breezy. Will Levis is not going in the first round. Wow. Unless some team trades up for Philadelphia's pick or Kansas City's pick.
Brian Breezy, Clemson. Huh.
Yeah, another great pick.
So here's my thing. Before we get to these last two picks, because what do the two Super Bowl teams even need anymore at this point?
So yeah, let's go ahead and go over that. So the Eagles, they don't really need a whole lot.
Do
If I
they
were
still need a
them,
running
I
back?
would be drafting. If I were them, I'd be drafting Nolan Jones or Nolan Smith.
Yeah.
Why not just build up some more defensive firepower, especially since you got some members on the team that are getting older in age, such as like Brandon Graham. Nolan Smith could just,
Yeah.
plop him right in there, and you have your future right now. The Eagles could be a dynasty the way they're set up right now. It's crazy. I want to see them win a Super Bowl, but even though I rooted against them in the Super Bowl, oops, sorry. But you could do nothing but just build more and more and more, just absolute depth.
Yeah. I see the Kansas City Chiefs picking a defensive guy as well. I'd love to see them go after a running back, or I'm sorry, a wide receiver. They're still trying to pick up the pieces for when Tyreek Hill left. And obviously they lost Juju and Mecole Hardman. So they're very bare in the wide receiver department. I think they could wait for a third round to pick
What
somebody
if
like
they went for Joey Porter Jr.? I think that'd be a good one for him. He's still on the board. He should have been taken already.
what team
He's from Penn State. Kansas.
over Jalen Hyatt?
Yeah, honestly.
Because that's who I'm watching for right now. But I know he's more of a second and third round, projected pick.
Yeah, I see his name being called tomorrow. I feel like you can, especially Andy Reid, he can find someone that's going to be able to do that work that Jalen Hyatt can do. More than he's going to be able to find a corner who could be easily the best of these corners. I believe that he could be the best of the corners available right now or being drafted right now.
Yeah.
So that's where I'd maybe be looking. I wouldn't even be surprised if Philadelphia went Joey Porter. Why not just be absolutely loaded? I mean, you don't really have a weakness, but you do have some aging players on your roster. Why not just get their replacements and just build a dynasty? Now's your time. You have Jalen Carter now, who you probably shouldn't have expected to get at number 9. When you made this trade with the Saints to get their 9th overall pick. I mean, they have an absolute chance to become a huge dynasty.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs also losing Thornhill is going to be a big thorn in their side. So they could go after somebody, like the safety out of Alabama who's still available.
He would be a good pick too.
Any of those guys. Somebody defensively, Joey Porter. I'm drawing a blank on what his name is from Alabama, but the safety out there. But then, of course, I still like to see a receiver. They didn't pick up anybody in free agency. It was weird, but I know they're coming off a Super Bowl, so it's not like they're doing any harm.
Yeah, and for the record, the Houston Texans do not have a second round pick anymore. I for some reason thought they still might, but they do not.
Okay.
I just wanted to clarify that before we got flamed for it.
13.
So 13, we got the Packers once again not taking a receiver. Me and you both wanted them to take Jackson Smith and Jigba here. Maybe we're just being Ohio State bandwagons. But they got Lucas Van Ness, the $100 thief, out of Iowa. I still think he's a great prospect. They literally call him Hercules.
Yeah.
So I don't know what exactly was the thought process behind it, other than maybe that was just number 1 on their draft board, that was still available. But who knows? We'll see how this plays out this year. Maybe they are just now like they maybe just want to tank this year. I mean, just see what they
Think?
have and maybe just yeah, honestly. I mean, they have Jordan Love. I mean, I don't think they have the biggest expectations for him. I don't think they plan on winning a Super Bowl
No.
this year or even making the playoffs. If they make the playoffs, it's the bonus. I mean, it saves Jordan Love and their image on that pick.
Mm.
But I don't know. It's gonna be interesting seeing if he's actually gonna be their future or if they're gonna be picking number one next year. Um, at 14, we had the Steelers trade up with the Patriots to select Broderick Jones from Georgia, offensive tackle. Steelers, if you're a Steelers fan, you knew that they really needed an offensive line. I'm not a Steelers fan. I just knew from Myles Garrett blowing through the line
Yep.
so easily that they need an offensive line. The only reason we were even semi-competitive with them at times was our pressure on their offensive line. But yeah, then we go to 15, which the Jets, that was the Packers pick originally. They go ahead and select Will McDonald the fifth, or is it the fourth?
The fourth.
The fourth. Out of Iowa State. Like we said, a lot of Iowa players this year. Outside linebacker. Just trying to bulking up that defense. Didn't think it was a crazy pick, but pretty solid pick. I
I
personally,
was shocked by it.
I think I would have gone Jack Campbell probably.
Yeah.
I mean, he led the nation in tackles, correct?
Yes. I believe it was last
I'm pretty sure.
2021 or 2022.
Yeah,
Well, I thought Will Anderson led the. Oh no, it was tackles for loss.
yeah.
Yeah, it was tackles.
This next pick really surprised me, but it really shouldn't anymore. The Commanders once again just kind of came out of the blue and picked a random with their first round pick. They picked Emmanuel Forbes out of Mississippi State, cornerback. Um, I thought especially with Christian Gonzalez and Joey Porter Jr. still on the board, like one of them, if not, I thought Christian Gonzalez was the no-brainer.
Yeah,
Personally, if you're looking
they
at a
must have just
corner,
felt something. Must have felt something different.
yeah, and
Donna Kelsey's up
this could
on.
be a make or break for their GM because Dotson, I mean, didn't really get a whole lot of playing time last year. Hopefully he's not a Corey Coleman like I'm kind of starting to believe he is. Um, but hopefully Emmanuel Forbes pans out for them. I want to see the Commanders do good.
Are you seeing this right now with Donna Kelsey on stage?
She's on stage right now.
She's presenting but this one guy there, he's holding a Travis Kelsey coin, and on the other side, I think it says Jason Kelsey.
Oh my.
She's probably picking the next two picks because it's Eagles Chiefs.
Oh, definitely.
The pick is in though.
Who are they getting?
Who are these guys? What are they flipping the coin for? That's what I'm concerned
That's
about.
what I'm wondering.
It's Travis Kelsey.
Oh, they got who I said they would get.
Joey Porter.
Nope.
Nolan Jones or
Nolan
Nolan Smith.
Yep. Eagles got Nolan Smith. They got both the Georgia boys yet again.
Holy shit.
That's how it was last year. They got Nakobe Dean. They got Jordan Davis last
Yeah.
year. Georgia runs deep in Philly.
Yeah. Holy shit. My buddy Cody's gonna be happy.
Oh, yeah. I would be ecstatic with that draft. But yeah, let's go ahead and finish this up while we're waiting for this last pick
Yeah.
to come in. Pick 17, Patriots traded down with the Steelers and picked Christian Gonzalez. Absolute W of a pick for the Patriots. Hate saying those words right now because it's Patriots, but They got a good one, I think.
Yeah.
Can't even be mad at him. I thought he was gonna go top 10. I think he's good enough. I personally thought that he even had a possible edge over Witherspoon because I think Witherspoon has a lot of flaws in his game right now, but Gonzalez was more of a complete corner.
Mm-hmm.
But Witherspoon had a higher ceiling at the same time, so can't knock him for that. Patriots taking the safe Patriot way, getting Gonzalez. Then we get Jack Campbell finally coming off the board at 18 to Detroit.
A good pick for them.
Good pick. They needed a linebacker bad. They need defense in general bad. So that's what really kind of irked me about that 12th pick. Especially trading back, I'm like, okay, you're not gonna go after anyone on offense. You're not gonna go after, Carter's already off the board. So Gibbs kind of surprised me a lot.
Yeah.
I really don't know how I feel about that pick. But I'm hoping it wins me my bet. So as long as it wins me my steak dinner, I don't care.
We'll see.
Yeah. NFC North champions. That's all I know.
I was bummed with this next pick, especially because Jackson went a pick later. The Buccaneers picked Kalijah Cansey from Pittsburgh, defensive tackle. It's going to be a good addition to the defense, but I don't think their defense has been the problem. Maybe it has, but they don't give up a lot of points. They just don't score a lot of points.
Yeah, that is true. I personally actually like the pick a lot. I mean, the dude's being compared to Aaron Donald.
Yeah, and like I said, it's just not what I wanted. But I'm not going to complain because they did add a beast to the defense. I mean, if you're being compared to one of the greatest players in the defensive history, by all means. But I don't think it's going to give the Buccaneers an edge to go to the Super Bowl again right now.
Oh, I don't. As long as they got Buster Mayfield back there, and yes, I call him Buster because he is a Buster. Um, I don't think that it would have been enough in general. I think that they're just, I wouldn't even be surprised if Mike Evans or Chris Godwin gets traded at some point.
Yeah.
It's about that time. You gotta start getting those picks. And just starting from ground zero because that organization's kind of a nightmare right now.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, very next pick, surprising location and landing spot, but I kind of like it a lot.
The pick was
Jackson
just,
Smith and Jigba goes to Seattle.
I just wasn't expecting the pick because they have Lockett and DK. So it was like, what was the urgency for another receiver unless you're just thinking about age?
So yeah, age definitely plays a big part in it. Um, you know, DK, he's had a little bit of health issues in the past. Tyler Lockett, he's in his 30s now. I bet they would like to try to move off of him after the season.
Yep.
Why not groom your next star wide receiver and have a dynamic duo of DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith and Jigba?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not every day that you can get that kind of talent that late in the first round. Because I honestly thought he would have gone a lot sooner than this. And the fact that he did drop down this far is pretty insane. And that was the first receiver taken off the board as well.
Yeah, and then the next four or the next three.
Yeah, next three we get Quentin Johnson going to LA for the Chargers. I almost said Zay Jones. Zay Flowers going to Baltimore.
Big pick. That's huge.
That is huge. Even though Zay Flowers, I didn't realize looked like a 16-year-old.
Yeah. Well, so did Jordan Addison.
Jordan Addison, that one's gonna be awesome in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely awesome. I was really thinking that they might take a quarterback because they'd just been hinting at the idea of Hendon Hooker
Yeah.
so long, and then I thought, oh, maybe this is where Will Levis goes. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
And they made the absolute right pick.
Yeah, that was great.
Keep him out of Buffalo. That works with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go down to Deontay Banks going to the New York Giants. Now, I don't know for sure, but is Deontay Banks related to the Banks that played at Ohio State? Do you know at all?
I don't know. I know he's like born and raised in Maryland, grew up a Tarps fan, played for the Tarps, 3-star recruit out of high school. I mean, I don't think that he was related to him.
Okay. I couldn't remember if I had heard that or not. Then we get at 25, the Bills traded up to draft Dalton Kincaid.
Weird because they have Dawson Knox, but I mean, good pick. Took
Why
the
not
number
have
one
more
tight end.
weapons? I mean, have a
Yeah.
dual tight end offense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why not?
And
Uh,
that caught us up.
yeah. Um, and then we get Maze Smith to the Dallas Cowboys out of Michigan, defensive tackle. They needed it pretty bad. They need a lot though, even though they think they're contenders every single year. They needed it bad.
Yeah.
Anton Harrison was selected by Jacksonville. We kind of covered that already. He's offensive tackle, get Trevor Lawrence some protection, and then just running through these last three while we're waiting on this last pick by the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. I almost said Royals. We had Miles Murphy going to Cincinnati, Brian Breeze going to New Orleans, and then Nolan Smith going to Philadelphia. Dylan, so far, who's the biggest winner of this draft?
The Houston Texans.
By a mile.
And then probably the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes, by half a mile.
Yeah. I think, honestly, the biggest loser today might have been the Lions.
Yeah, they didn't do too hot.
I mean, they got great picks with Jack Lambert and Gibbs, two great players, but just odd. They had like a 98% chance of getting Gibbs at the 18th pick, and they had like a 96% chance of getting Jack Lambert at their second round pick.
Jack Campbell.
Yeah, sorry.
I was gonna say the reincarnation of Jack
Yeah.
Lambert.
Yeah.
I mean, he basically plays like Jack Lambert.
Yeah.
Man, they are really milking their time on this 31st overall pick, though.
I know. I think it's just Kansas City loving that it's Kansas City last.
Probably. Tomorrow looks like we're gonna have a very eventful second round, second and third round. Browns pick at 74, and then we also pick at 98 tomorrow. So that's gonna be fun.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am too. I'm hoping that. Oh, the pick is in. Who the
Wait,
hell
don't say
is
it.
it? Oh, I do know who that is actually. Don't say it yet.
I'm just now getting to the guy coming up to the podium. I don't know why it's so far behind.
You want what side of the ball he's on?
Is he defense?
Yes.
Was it the Alabama safety?
No.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Defensive end.
Maybe.
Yeah, they needed an edge rusher. Who is it? Let's see.
It's a solid pick. I didn't think he'd go first round, but
Felix. Oh, Kansas State going to Kansas. Come on.
yeah.
Well, that wraps up the first round.
Yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for tonight. Overall fun night, very eventful first round. Before today, couldn't have told you that Houston was gonna trade up to 3. That's
No.
pretty awesome. But yeah, next episode we'll be covering over what is these last rounds. Maybe we can even pop out one on Sunday. Hopefully we'll get one on Sunday to, just go over what our teams did and
Yeah.
how we thought teams panned out. If there were any big surprises other than Will Levis not even going in the first round.
Crazy.
Kind of embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
Hate to say that, but it's kind of embarrassing, especially since a lot of people had him going number 4.
Yeah. That happened to Malik Willis, though, last year. He was supposed to be the first quarterback off the board.
Yeah, and he dropped all the way down.
3rd round. Cool. Yeah, let's talk about the Browns on Sunday.
Yeah, sounds good to me. But until then, guys, thank you guys for watching this episode of Hold My Bev. Make sure if you guys are watching this on YouTube, you go subscribe and leave a like on this video. Go ahead and give a comment what you want us to talk about here in the future. What did you think of the first round? Did your team make the right pick if your team picked it all? If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you go ahead and show us that you're following us on our Twitter and that you have those notifications on so you know when all those episodes are coming out. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at HoldMyBev to stay updated and talk with me and Dylan. We're always looking to talk with you guys, interact with you guys about different sports topics. And then Dylan, is there anything you want to say?
Te amo.
Take it easy.